Faster cars, mail, food, news, shopping, speed of life has been increasing for the last 100 years. We want to live our lives to the fullest, and we are encouraged to do so. But no matter how far we travel, no matter how many things we buy, it's never enough. And at some point we don't feel that excited anymore. We get burned out or depressed. International consultancy Gallup found out that in 2015 about 3 million German workers felt burnt out. This number is equal to the entire population of Moldova. Work-related stress has been rising not just in Germany. Lots of books and trainings appear on the topic of life-work balance. But is time management the trick?
We live on a motivational basis, on a cultural promise of making the world more and more controllable, knowable, accessible, attainable, and so on. Why is it a problem? Not everything in our society, and maybe probably also in our bodies and our souls, if you still believe in a soul, are equally speedable or equally dynamizable, so to speak, right? There are things which you cannot really speed up, which you might destroy if you speed them up or if you try to speed them up. So I call these problems of desynchronization. What we call the ecological problem, in my reading, is a problem of desynchronization, because nature has its proper time. That human beings cut down trees is not a problem for nature. For the beaver, for example, did cut down trees for many thousands of years. The problem is that we cut the trees down at a rate which is too fast for nature to reproduce its forests.
For this tree, it takes about 15 years to grow and only a few minutes to be cut down. Nevertheless, we are very careless with our resources, and each year about a third of all that is produced is wasted. According to the United Nations, if nothing changes, by 2050 we would need the equivalent of almost 3 planets to sustain our lifestyles. Hartmut Rosa's notion of desynchronization can explain a lot of problems, for example, psychological ones. Because we cannot process too much information, we don't have time to make meaningful connections and end up feeling frustrated. Desynchronization can also be a threat to democracy or economic well-being.
Formulating positions and entering into deliberation is per se time-consuming, and if society becomes more pluralistic, then there are more voices and positions which we have to include. And actually, the decisions become more complex. There are many factors and long-ranging. If you have to decide about a power plant, a nuclear power station, the consequences will be maybe forever or for thousands of years. So actually, the logic of democratic policymaking is rather slowing down than speeding up. But the logic of the markets and of the media is speeding up. So you get serious desynchronization in the proper time of politics and the proper time of the socio-economic system, right?
It may explain why populist parties or political figures are gaining popularity in some countries. Researching complex topics that may affect our well-being in long term is not our best idea for an evening or weekend. Most Google phrases in 2016 were not Brexit or sustainability or refugee crisis, but Donald Trump, Powerball, Pokemon and David Bowie. It is more dangerous as it may seem, because this way we can be manipulated and forced to make decisions we will later regret. So is there a solution for never-ending acceleration and desynchronization? Hartmut Rosa offers resonance, building meaningful connections with ourselves, other people, books, letting them transform us. Of course, it's not that easy when there is external pressure.
If you put people on temporal stress, right, and if you install fear, for example, there's an final exam in the university or so, right, then you certainly, you cannot and you should not try to get in resonance with anything, not even with the material you're working at. You have to be fast, efficient, and block out anything that might touch and transform you. So what I want to say, if we try to formulate a critique of the conditions of resonance, we can look at subjects, but we certainly have to look at the institutional spheres. There are physical, there are temporal, there are spatial, architectural preconditions of resonance, of the possibility of resonance or of being in resonance with the world. So what I want to say is that we need a dual revolution. One is structural, get over this kind of capitalist system, and one is cultural, get over capitalism within us.
Other people also call for such radical solutions. They suggest rewriting the rules of the game. To keep pace with nature, work less hours, be more involved in national decision-making processes. It all may sound like utopia now, but who could imagine, say, in 1917, a globalized world connected by internet? So what is your response to the accelerating society?